So a godly woman's channel likely is trying to reach godly women for Christ, or ungodly women for Christ. It's a ministry for kids and for women. It is a ministry to inspire and motivate godliness in other women, or at least if she's being biblical about it. She's not trying to lure men. She's not trying to lure the whole planet with her ministry. She's trying to help women be more godly. That's what I'm trying to do. Do you understand what I'm saying? Literally, that is my whole job. I say it in my blog. I say it in my YouTube channel. I make it clear that my ministry is for women and not for men. And so basically, because half of the world's population is excluded from reach in my ministry, or at least by implication, I ought not do then as well as somebody who is supposed to reach the whole planet for Christ, both men and women alike. Meaning men's ministries ought and will likely be far more powerful than women's ministries, because that is what God is doing. That is what the Lord has intended to do. God has given men the charge to be preachers, not women. Meaning men, when you're looking at women, when you're looking for wives, and you are trying to compare her stats in comparison to yours, you're trying not even compare per se, but you want to find a woman that is accepted by all of Christendom as a really great reacher for Jesus. You are looking at her subscriber count. You're looking at her, what do you call this? Like count. You're looking at her view count. You are also looking at the quality of her background or her videos, how well she does edits. You are looking at basically what it is that people ought to look for with you. You are a man. You've been given a charge by God to go and be a preacher, a minister for the nations, a prophet, whatever your calling is. You are supposed to be the one whose anointing is bringing that 100,000 subscriber count, 200,000, 500,000, 80,000, whatever, like comments per video. You are the one that is supposed to obviously be clearly anointed, because everything you touch, God bursts it into fire, because he wants you to reach people for Jesus. God has given you the charge, you the anointing, to be a preacher of all nations. Yes, women are to make disciples of all nations, but ours is very limited. Our call is limited in comparison to that of men. It's limited, and the Bible, it's scattered all throughout the scriptures. It is clear. It is obvious. So it's kind of irresponsible then of Christian men to look at Christian women the way that worldly men look at worldly women and even Christian women. You cannot judge us based on how successful our ministries are. Literally, you can't do that. You're no different on that day from a guy who is trying to date a woman because she's got a strong career. He has forgotten his masculinity at the door. He should be content to be with a woman that doesn't even have a job at all, because that's just the job of men. The duty, the place of men to provide for women comprehensively is just that the 21st century has gone on to blur those lines. But we don't get to blur lines as Christians. We must always just snap rubbish out of our heads, literally put a lightning bolt through our brains to recalibrate them, that we might think the way that Christ thinks. We don't get with the times. We get with the Bible, which is consistent from the beginning of time till now. So, that being a fact, therefore, do you not find it frustrating, ladies, that sometimes you feel like you find your perfect match, but he is this like big fat chunky 1 million view subscriber count guy on YouTube, or this like prolific dude with 20,000 followers on TikTok when you're still trying to scrape past the number 22, and the guy is so perfect because every time he speaks, it's like literally he might as well be in your voice box, communicating the way you resonate the exact same things. And to you, he is rare. He is unlike any other minister on social media that you have come across, because he speaks your language in a way that nobody else does. He is your ministry and you're his ministry. Literally, you feel as if this is one flesh type combination, but he is there in the distance and you feel like you're a fan. You feel like you're a fan and you're starstruck, but it is not being starstruck. It is being attracted to God's work in him as it is similar to God's work in you. But he looks at you and is like, thank you, sister. Noted. When you speak to him in that, like after that church conference, when you go to the front to try and have a discussion with him about his views on the Big Bang Theory and his apologetics notes on it, when you try to highlight that you've spoken about the same thing, he's busy like nodding his head. He's not rude. He ain't rude. No, he's not rude, but he's nodding because he's got so like all these other 20 girls that he has to sign the autographs off. He has got all these other men that also want to talk to him about big man things. He has got these things that he needs to do, and you just are this thing that's just fading. in the background of a guy that's already made it, he's arrived. That man is facing a risk of marrying a woman that was just as ornate and shiny as him without realizing that his Rebecca was the girl in the crowd, literally fading into the background as he was honey and everybody was bees to him. I feel like that so much. I have felt like that in all of my Christian faith. I would like to say about perhaps like 5 times. I've been saved in Christ 11 years. And in 11 years, out of all the Christians that I have watched online, and that I've heard giving speeches in churches and whatnot, I felt like that only 5 times, because the way I think is rare and unique to me, in the same way that the way you think is rare and unique to you. And so when there's somebody that comes that is like so hand love similar to you, you just feel like you're fading in the background. I have felt like that so many times before. And the sad thing about it is that some of these guys that I have felt this way about went on right ahead to marry other women. And even if I had slid into their DMs or thrown myself at their threshing floor, I would have just been this thing that is minuscule fading into the background. Electricity has returned. Electricity's back. But I'm still gonna put the voiceover thing because I want to finish this off as a voiceover. You just feel like this thing that is twisting in the wind of his fame and his popularity. You're just twisting in that like not volcano, but what do you call it? That hurricane. And yeah, well, I've had that experience 5 times in my more or less about 5 times. I would go so far as to let you guys know who the guys are, but no, it's not necessary. No need to put them on blast or whatever. Not that it matters. Not that they'll ever hear it. But the way we think is so similar. In particular with me, like just a really very strong apologists for the faith. Men like those that are into debunking heresy. I am huge on them because I am that way. That's how I am. I'm also an academic. I'm very voracious. I'm biblical. I'm studious. In the way that I am, and these men have always just caught my eye in a way that other men in the faith that cover other topics just don't. And when they get married, I don't get hurt. It's not like I was ever with them, but upon watching them continue with their wives, all I can say is I really hope she gets where you're coming from, and I really hope she is able to be the kind of helper suitable that you need for the kind of man that you are. I really hope that you're able to have those conversations with her. You know, so sort of, yeah, like that's all I can say. Like, I really hope. But now that I am 38, I have had all of these people glide right by my nose. And I've just been this like tiny little bee in the myriad of many bees around him as he's honey in the center of any environment. And I'm like, Father, at this rate, will any man find me? Will he indeed be like, I found a good thing and obtained favor from the Lord? Will that ever happen? Because some of the most appropriate men for me are, 1, in different countries, 2, so popular on social media in their ministries that if I dared even try to slide one in their DMs and basically try to help them understand that, look, I'm talking about the same thing. I've written about the exact same thing in my blog, in my WordPress account. And this is the article. Go check it out. I doubt that they will even go there. And even if they do somehow prosper to just like get through the dust and the dust cloud of all these other people that are DMing him and still go to my what is this website? Even if they do still go to my website, I fear that they're just going to get there and be like, oh my goodness, whoa, and just find it laborious, long winding, read my article, and because of how much has only gotten 2 likes and no comments, they're just going to like walk right past it without actually reading my content with the kind of heart that, you know, would cause a man to be like, oh my goodness, like, whoa, where in the world did she come from? Like, out of nowhere. So I just, what do you call this? I just comment on their, like, you know, TikToks and their YouTube channels, comment sections. I just comment and I'm like, oh, nice one. And then I write this like laborious, long winding, especially on YouTube, you can write those long winding responses. I just write these long responses, giving my take on things. And then I would get liked by their viewers and whatnot. And maybe one of their viewers would like comment on me, but I won't even get a like or a heart or a thumbs up or nothing from the actual content creator. And I'm like, he glided right by me. And I look at the guy and I'm like, you're single? You are fit for purpose for me. I imagine you would find me attractive. If you were to at all go into my channel, you would find that you're probably attracted to me physically. And then when I speak, you would likely be like, oh my goodness, she's hitting a bullseye. But you're not even going to go into my channel. And even if you do, you are likely going and just go, like the landing page on YouTube for your website, like pretty much your page, how it is that you just grow like 2 pages to go see back. If you go back, you can go back, I think, like twice, and you then stop scrolling back the most recent content. And then if you look at that, you see the number of views on there. You see the number of views. And guys, I have literally got, for some of my videos, 1 view, literally 1. I've got videos that I've uploaded that have got 1 view, and I upload a lot, but my content is rich, it's wordy, and it's very heavy. It's edifying. I would like to imagine it's edifying, and it's me sharing my raw, unadulterated testimony, and all the things which I'm going through, meaning that I would be with a while for people to listen to. It's just that I'm yet to be discovered. I'm yet to be found, I am like that street singer that sings like Adele, but like nobody knows yet type thing. And if at all a man were to encounter something like that with the kind of mindset that our men are currently wearing in the faith right now, he's just going to glide by literally a good thing, a perfect thing. And especially if at all he were to go inside my videos and see my background, see my living conditions, see my heavy persecution, he might even disregard me because of that. When the Bible said, blessed are you when men revile you or persecute you on account of his name. A persecuted Christian is a gem to find, because they're being refined through fire, and they're going through what Christ said they should go through. They should be among the most acknowledged and regarded people in the Christian faith, and yet they are also, strangely, the most disregarded by the Christian community as well as the world. The world thinks when you lose money, when you lose job, when you lose car, when you lose house, when you lose all these things, you ain't jack. And the church is starting to think that way, and it's so heartbreaking, because the high value that is in me, and the high value that is treasure in jars of clay in the believer count, all of us at large, is worth the while for people to do a little bit more research in people than not. It's worth a while to look deeper. The more persecuted a woman, the more of a great find she is. The more she has undergone prison in Iran, the more she is worth your while. The more a child of God has been buried in a basement for years for preaching the gospel, the more she is worthy of being a godly man's wife that's going to care for her with no trauma. With care for the fact that she has past trauma. A person that has undergone the kind of persecution that will get you fleeing from one town to the next is the kind of person that, as a man, if you're single and you've never been married and you meet a woman like this, you want to take her home to mama, because she has been refined by the fire and shown that she is faithful to Jesus through persecution. She literally stuck to her guns all the way through persecution. She is a really great find. And as much as I understand myself as a great find, precisely because I've been persecuted for 8 years straight, I lost everything. I'm having difficulty understanding why men in the faith don't consider me worth a while to look at, because of the fact that I am still suffering. I'm still going through it. It's exactly the same way that the world thinks. Many of the people that are left behind in the world that used to be my friends and family, not family members, but friends and acquaintances, because of course family members are still family members. Goodness gracious, they used to have so much respect for me back in the day when I had everything, and then they just treated me like I was the scum of the earth, like trash, like something tossed and tossable. As soon as I lost it all. I get it when the world does that, when days are dark, friends are few. But the church, when we go through it, when a Christian suffers near martyrdom, when they suffer prison, when they suffer beatings, scourgings, they are literally partaking in the sufferings of Christ, closer to home, more so to Christ than any other single Christian. A persecuted Christian is undergoing the sufferings of Christ in a way that is elevating of their stand and their walk in Christ than any other type of Christian. A believer that's not being persecuted is a believer, yes, indeed, and they're strong and they're loved, and Christ is besotted with them. But there is something that comes with the Christian that survived martyrdom. You know how you don't treat, like when you hear of a man or a woman that's still alive today that survived the Holocaust, there is an honor that you feel for them. When they walk in the room, they carry clout. There is a weight that you award them with. Like you feel as if though they are walking with a shadow around them, the way they have got so much presence. because they went through so much and they made it, they survived, they got through it. So if you can see a Holocaust survivor that way, when they walk into the room, if their energy fills the room like a gas, a Christian that has been persecuted ought to do that amidst believers, amidst other believers. There should be greater honor to Christian women that have survived persecution and Christian men that have survived persecution. If a Christian woman has been endured through prison, she should basically have a whole bunch of Christian men queuing outside of her life, petitioning to be betrothed to her, asking her, can it be me? Can it be? She should have a whole bunch of men being like, pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me. Karabo, will you let me be the one that walks you down the aisle? Can I? She should be getting petitioned that way. She should have many options. She should literally be like that woman in the show, The Bachelorette. That is what a persecuted godly woman is. And the same thing is true of a persecuted godly man. He should have a whole bunch of women also being like, pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me. Pick me. But it's not happening that way because people are underestimating persecuted people the way that the world underestimates the suffering. The world is the one that does not care about people who suffer too much. The world. No. Don't drink my water, cat, please. The world is the one that does not care about what people are struggling with. And when they go through it, they undermine them because they don't have enough Insta followers. But in the kingdom of heaven, we should have a different mindset. So I'm sitting at 38 where I'm at, and I'm watching my glory years flee right by my nose. I am a beautiful woman. I don't know whether literally I've got insecurities about my glory now anymore. But I was one of those typical, like, wanted women, if you want to call it that, back in the day. I was beautiful, I was tall, I was slender, I looked like a model, I was very successful, I was highly wanted, I was a high value woman according to the standards of this world. And now as a Christian woman, I have been reduced to hollow, naught and ash, and alongside it, they're also taking away the beauty that made me very sought after once upon a time. Back in the day. And I'm like, am I going to be one of those has-beens? I feel as if though I'm being taken away from me, even my physical beauty, so that people can then also be like, she thought she was all that, and now look at her. Except I'm a godly woman, and it would be a travesty for me to be to end up nowhere, with nothing, with no one, having never gotten married. I would be like one of those beautiful women that get old with just a whole bunch of kids, but no man ever committed. And everybody's like, if only you saw her back in the day, you would have imagined that she would have gotten married to the best man in the community, in the village. But she ended up just some baby mama without even getting married. No man ever decided to take her seriously. So it goes to show that she was arrogant. Like, I stand to be really badly abused by women who envied me back in the day, as you thought you were all that and you ended up being the one that didn't even get married, even though we thought you were going to get married first. That's what I'm facing, guys. And every day it just breaks my heart so much. I'm not coming from a narcissistic place here. I'm coming from a vantage point of, these are unequal scales. This is unfair. I've given my life over to the Lord, but my challenge right now is with the fact that godly men are strangely looking at women the way that worldly men look at women. It's unfortunate. It's just so unfortunate, and it's also very deeply uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to take in my stride, in our stride. It's really rough, guys. It's so rough. And I'm pretty sure that there are godly women who can relate to this. How it is that they know their gems, their great finds, and they know when they have met a man that is perfect for them in the kingdom, especially given how rare it is to find godly men. It's rare, especially, guys, in the society that is as fallen as it is, with all of these as godly women, one of our greatest challenges is the fetishizing of our godliness. Like, men just cannot get over having sex with us. Like, the fact that we have held out for 10 years, 7, 6, 3, the fact that we're not having sex, to them, it's like, in this very hypersexualized society, a godly woman is something to just win and pounce over. It's extremely sexually charging to unrefined men when they hear that a woman has not had sex in a while. They want to be the first one to poke her. Do you understand? So that those are the kinds of things that we are met with. Those are the kinds of random creeps that slide into our DMs. We get harassed by men that have no interest at all in actually knowing God, but they love the fact that we haven't had sex in 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, and we've been waiting for Christ. So, and as under attack as we are as godly women, it is the responsibility of godly men to stop thinking like the world. To stop thinking about finding women the way that the world finds women. Some of your most godliest queens are being harassed and pounced on by ungodly men. And we are being attacked by witchcraft spells from them because they fetishize us. They are obsessed and addicted to us. They look at us from a distance and are like, they fetishize submission. And everything that comes with godliness, they fetishize it. They just want to be the person to destroy something beautiful. So when then we sit in audiences or watch the channels of our brothers online that are single, and we feel attraction, and we sometimes feel so what is the word that I'm looking for? Helpless. It's like standing in front of your husband but being helpless because he doesn't realize that you're his wife. And so that's why you're finding all of these godly women busy talking about kingdom spouses, prodigal sons, and this. And for the better part of the time, all of these prodigal son men aren't even their husbands, but they want them to be. Because, guys, when a woman recognizes herself in a man, it is so hard for her to just walk away from that. And godly women are finding themselves walking away from godly men who have arrived, who God has blessed the ministries of. And so they're really reaching the world for Christ. But this woman is literally the one and only one person that can actually be perfect and fit and proper for this man, given his niche of ministry. But this guy will never ever look at her, because when you go to her WordPress account, her very excellently written body of work only got 2 likes and no comments. And so you just walk right past her. If you even got to the point of clicking on her WordPress link. If you even got to a point of clicking on her YouTube link, if you're in TikTok. If you even got to the point of going to her Twitter page. If you even took the time to click on her TikTok. Not TikTok, what is it? On her Instagram. If you even took the time, for the better part of the time, you don't even comment, because you've got this barrage of comments from so many other people on your channel. And in all fairness, it is a barrage, but the Holy Spirit leads through a barrage. He helps you find a needle in the haystack. So perhaps maybe these men are not even praying for that needle in the haystack. They're in their own flesh and in their soul looking for women. And so what does it do, though? What does it do to godly men when you continue to find a needle in a haystack? Not a needle, sorry, but when you continue to find more hay, more hay as opposed to needle, you get disillusioned. You get disillusioned. You literally end up waiting for a wife for longer than you needed to. You are looking for the girl with the 500,000 subscribers, and then you pass up the one with the 143, like Karabo. And then she gets to the age of 38, which is frankly unacceptable, still unmarried, and you are like, and then you're then, once she's 38, are tempted to then undermine her value precisely because she's so old and unmarried. I mean, it's just like a whole egg before the chicken before the egg thing. I've been waiting on Christ since 26 and a half, guys. Since 26. 11 years in singlehood. It's not that there are no godly men. It's that in and of themselves, they're busy picking hay in the haystack where there is a needle. So they then get upset. They get frustrated by the fact that, it's so hard to find a godly wife. But is it? Is it, men? Is it really tough to find a godly woman, given that you are a godly man standing on a podium where godly women are looking at you? You are just not looking at them back. And it's not that they're not attractive. It's that their social profiles are not attractive. It's not that they're not beautiful. It's not that they don't have great bodies like the women in this world. It's not that they don't have great intelligence like the women of this world. Pretty much everything that these women of the world have to give, we have it, except we've got a bountiful amount more because we're godly on top of it. So you're literally just passing up really great queens because you're looking for them in high subscriber counts and blah, blah, blah. And the women who do have all of these high subscriber counts, by the way, and they're pretty much the popular Christian ladies. They are few, guys. They are also human. They are one woman that, it's just one human being. She's going to get married to somebody. She's going to be found by someone that she's going to imagine makes sense for her. And then she's going to be off the market. And then once she's off the market, all the other hundreds of thousands that are buried in your DMs or in your comments section, or it's just like you're ignoring them on your threshing floor, those are the ones that, because the world is not looking at them, maybe you need to think to look at them. Because who knows? What is this? Eve's purpose never started before Adam was around, if you know what I mean. Like, Eve was made second. She was made after Adam, from his rib, meaning that whatever her prosperity and her thriving and her job on the earth would likely only come once she's been made for Adam. So many of our ministries in Christ as women also get thrived only once we get married. So it's like, again, chicken before the egg, egg before the chicken. I feel as if though my ministry is likely going to pick up a lot of weight once I get married, especially because I'm always talking to women, and women love to listen to a married woman for whatever reason. They trust them more. So while I'm still single, it's like, hey, but you're still struggling, you're still suffering. You get my point. So I'm Eve, and Adam is expecting me to run around on this earth before I'm even made from his rib. How's that even going to be a thing? So my very excellent work on my ministry will likely only flourish, blossom, blow up like a cake in the oven once I meet my hubby, my future husband, and the two of us come together in concert to start a ministry. You get my point. Or to continue to proliferate our ministries each. You get my point. You'll understand what I'm talking about. The women who are already very busy for Christ with the very many subscribers on YouTube, in and of themselves, they're individual human beings that are being looked at by men, and they are shining on the rooftops, and they've got many, many options because they're also getting a whole bunch of people sliding stuff into their DMs. It's a lot more dangerous for women to respond to people sliding to them in their DMs than it is for men, for obvious reasons. And so, I mean, who's gonna take the big, fat, chunky YouTube girl? Who's gonna take her? If at all, you as the dude with the big fat chunky channel are competing with 20 other guys with big fat chunky channels, the girl can only choose one. She's only one. But what about the rest of us? God has given all of us a job to do in the kingdom, and men need to realize that women are there to build them, and they're there to build women. We are supposed to work as a team in the kingdom. Singlehood is dangerous in extended periods for any kingdom citizen. The world is evil. The days are dark. We need to get married, guys. We must get married to each other so the devil has less weight on us. So he has less on us. So we have got more up on him. So we've got two up on him. A cord of 3 strands is not easily broken. 2 or 3 are gathered, he is there with us. You get my point. 1 can bring down 1,000, 2 can bring down 10,000. Like, we need to get married. But we're not getting married. We're being single like the world. We all know how the stats of the world have it. Back in the day, kids got married. People got married as early as like teenage years. Now, the age of marriage is going into the 30s because people are focusing on their careers. All these like random changes in world trends should not be ours. We should get married early as Christians. As early as possible in our 20s, maybe just like breaking out of our teens. Frankly, if you get born again as a child at the age of 16, you should, if at all you meet a beautiful young girl, as well at the age of 16, perhaps maybe court and allow your parents to be chaperones over you for like 3-4 years. But by the time you turn 18, y'all both can get married like proper. It's okay. That's how things used to be back in the day. And that's how things ought to be because God has not changed. We have. So this thing of waiting 10, 20, 38 to still be single for a woman is ridiculous. I'm frankly a spinster. It's ridiculous. This should not be our statistics in the faith. The world, yes, let them go and get married at 45. Let them do what they want to do. Because they disregard God. They fornicate. They just want to continue to allow their random passions to have a field day with them. We have to brittle those passions by getting married that we can take out our sexual energy or whatever inside a marriage on our husbands. Like, that's what God says we must do. Singlehood for an indefinite period of time is not safe, especially these godly men, or when they're standing on those pulpits looking all leadery, looking all like leaders and stuff. They are like King Kong on a mountaintop. Understand, even worldly women will be attracted to their godliness because worldly men are very taxing on women. They're cheating. They're full of nonsense. They got all these like tricks up their sleeves. They're full of reverse psychology, and a godly man just does not know about their business. So they're going to be attracted to you, meaning that more Jezebels and Delilahs are going to be all up in your grill as men than godly women. So the sooner men get married, the better, because then they're off the market and it just becomes so much easier for you to ward them off. Otherwise, you become like a DJ in a nightclub where every girl just wants to take you home at the end of the night with no discretion at all. Godly men need to get married fast, and so too do godly women. We need to stop getting to the age of 30 unmarried. I'm 38. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And if there is a man that exists that is 40 something, that's not yet married, that is my husband, why did it even get there? We were supposed to meet when I guess he was like, what, 30 and I was 26. But here it is that witchcraft delayed it on 10 years. You don't get, whoa. Both of us, especially me. I'm not dealing with a geriatric womb, gotta go see fertility specialist just to have a baby. What in the world is going on? Like, what in the world is going on? And on top of that, I'm worried that I'm gonna be like this grandma mom, as opposed to a yummy mommy that's happy to jump up and down playing soccer with the kids because I still got all that youthful energy. They are making sure that I'm gonna like be a very tired mom, a very exhausted mother. We'll try and work on that, but you get my point. Like, it's just ridiculous. So I don't know. Like, I'm petitioning for myself here, obviously, but I bet I'm petitioning not just for myself, but so many other godly women. We exist. We are in our numbers. Some of us are persecuted. We're underground. We're being thwarted. We're being hurt by jealous women. We're being pursued by perverted men of the world that fetishize our godliness. And what we need is to get taken off the market at the speed of lightning. But the men that are perfect for us are too busy trying to snatch all the big time YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok Christian channel ladies. And they're not enough to go around. And for some of the time, they're not even the right ladies for these men. And the same thing also goes for, look, like a man's ministry should always just be like more prolific than that of a woman's. But sometimes when these women come into these men's lives, they suddenly make these men open their eyes and realize that, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. And so all of a sudden things take off, and they take off like really quickly. I get heartbroken every time I watch certain channels on YouTube or on TikTok. These days it's not even so. I told you, like, there's only been about 5 guys that have ever done this in my heart, made me feel helpless outside of their ministries. And I've recently encountered one, and I'm not going to say who it is because really, like, no. But this guy, for me, it's like, shut. Like, in the perfect. But I'm just another person in his comment section, and it's just like, oh goodness, wow. Here's another one. The last one I had before this one was about 3 years ago. Here's another one. Here's another guy that is single and married, perfect for me, but that will never look at me because my channel is so negligible right now. There is a tumbleweed rolling through it. And so because of me being disregarded by these men on whose threshing floors I get no successful response, and so I don't even go on their threshing floors in the first place, because of that, I am being accused of being manic depressive. I am being accused of being bipolar. I am being harassed by ungodly people that don't know Jesus, but who nonetheless come across my TikToks and they come across my YouTube shorts, come across the work of a very struggling woman. She's suffering. She's going through a lot. She's in a lot of pain. And they just add insult to my injury because they're insensitive and the things of God are foolishness to them. And my men are ignoring me because I'm already ignored. I'm being ignored because I'm already ignored, when Christ made it clear that the world would have this propensity towards ignoring his children. God gave us everything we need in order to live a life in godliness, and yet I am being ignored. I need help. I need sisters, of course. I need brothers, but I also need one particular brother to be my husband. I need to get out of this, and I need to stop. I desire to stop getting undermined because of the lack of prosperity of my channel. And I also am scared to do well on YouTube. I'm scared to finally get those numbers to rise. I'm scared to finally grow and burst to the place that I need to be so that men can see me, because I don't want a Christian man looking at me only because I have got 500,000 subscribers now. I want to grow, but at the same time, I'm scared to grow because I really want to fall in love right now when I still have nothing. Because that'll tell me a lot about my man's character. I don't want the kind of man that I wanted to slide into the DMs of suddenly looking at me because now I'm on par with him spiritually. I was going to say in terms of career, but a kingdom job is not really a career as it is rather a calling or a duty or a purpose for life. I don't want a man to suddenly look at me because I became big in the audience due to the fact that I became highlighted as the girl with the 1 million subscribers on YouTube. I've got the makings of a person that can have a very successful YouTube channel. I work hard and I've got very good content, but I don't want to get there. That's the thing. I'm caught in between a rock and a hard place right now, where I'm asking the Lord to thrive my channel because I want to get out of this obscurity. But at the same time, I'm like, but once I'm out of it, how will I ever know if I'm safe in the hands of a man, or if a man has certain random junk uprooted out of him? How am I going to know if your son, Lord, has been trained on his futility at first, on the fact that he was looking for a wife in the wrong places? I literally want a strong man to find me weak. I'm a strong woman, but I'm currently in a weak position or state in my life. I am in a temporary, transitory phase of weakness, but generally I'm very strong. And so I want a strong man to find me weak because of the fact that I am generally strong materially. I know how to make money. I know how to be big. I know how to be influential. I know how to be the girl in the room that everybody looks at, guys. I've always had clout. It's something I carried in my life. And I got that taken away from me for a very long time. And so my confidence is, of course, like hovering below sea level right now. Doesn't matter. I want somebody with clout to look at me as a test, guys, as a means to pass a test. I want my husband to meet me lowly. I want him to meet me lowly. I don't want to make it first, because then I'm going to be like a flamingo or a peacock on the rooftops, flailing her feathers, fluffing them about in front of somebody that's going to be like, hey, that's my kind of girl. Really? Now only? I've been your kind of girl literally for 8 years, and only now you're seeing it. I've been your kind of girl all this time while I was busy striving, trying to build my YouTube channel. I've been your kind of woman all this time. Why are you only seeing it now that I've made it? I want my man to see my value and my, you know how women are? You know how as women, we see the potential that a man can be, and so we want to try and help him grow? Yeah. Well, for the first time in my life, I want a man to see me as a project. I've been project panel beating men all my life. I've been trying to get men to the level that they could get to, the best version of themselves that they could be. For the first time in my life, you know, the Bible says you reap what you sow. Well, I sowed into men, and I have so far reaped nothing but disappointment. I have sown into men trying to build them. I now desire that the thing that I have sown, I will reap. I desire to reap a man that's going to want to build me. That's what I want now, because I know I can get built. I know the Lord can just simply make a decision overnight to give me my life back. He can, guys. I've got everything I need in order to make money, but I'm not getting there. But I don't want it. Not yet. I don't want to get out of the squalor without being taken out. I want to be hurled out. I want a man to throw a rope into my ditch and pull me out. I literally want that. I desire it in the worst way. And not because I'm a gold digger. Oh, goodness gracious. Like, I'm not even going to get into that discussion. I'm not even going to get into it. Everybody knows I'm not that thing. So, yeah. I want a man to take his hand, put it inside a ditch, and pull me out. And he will do this because he realizes I'm worth the while to pull out. If not, I will never trust again. I've been so traumatized. I've been beaten to a pulp. I've been hurt so badly that I can never trust a man once I'm strong again. The only kind of man that I will ever trust is one that will pull me out of a ditch. Because then he will have loved me when I had nothing, when he had clout, when he could have chosen all these other women that have clout in the kingdom of heaven, but he chose me because he saw that I am exactly who he is in spirit. I'm the female version of him. I am his Eve. I want a man to see me as his Eve that needs help. I want to be a cut above the rest in spite of my squalor to him. Despite my suffering, despite my persecution and my sorrow, I want him to see me as a cut above the rest. I want him to see me being as better, at least for him, than even the girl with the 1 million subscribers on YouTube that has been working for Jesus, grinding in the kingdom about her father's business. But according to him, she's not the one, because according to him, she's not within his niche. She is not within his calling. I want a man to pass everybody else up for me, even though I've got nothing. Even though I have still got all this acne on my face and I need to go see a dermatologist. Even though I need to go and put my braces back on my bottom teeth because of the fact that my wire snapped in this persecution and I couldn't see a doctor. Even though my family members still treat me like rubbish. Literally, I want my glory to be restored to my head by a man who is going to take me seriously when nobody else will. And I desire that that man should have enough clout for everybody in my life that embarrassed me to be wreaked havoc in the lives of. And all these men, when I look at them rolling around in these social media streets doing their beautiful channels, I feel sad inside, because I'm like, but like I would have made for such a great wife to this guy, and the thing is, he is still single. I desire that kind of miracle because I'm tired, guys. I'm exhausted of being like scared all the time. I've been so harassed by men. I've been so sexually accosted. I have been so like lambasted for my chastity. I've been so jealously mistreated by women precisely because of my godliness that I need a man that is going to be my vindication, and the crown of God on his head is going to make everybody else scatter about like roaches once you switch on the light in a room full of them. That's what I'm asking Christ for right now. I'm tired of being abused, arrested for crimes I didn't commit, and being diagnosed with diseases I don't have because I'm so strong in Christ and I've survived all this persecution. I'm being called mentally insane when I should rather be accoladed for being full of fortitude. For the life of me, I want to go and heal ladies out there who are suffering the way that those two women I spoke about earlier on social media are suffering. But these ladies are not going to believe me until my testimony proves that Christ had my back. And I believe that the way that the Lord is going to show this is through a man that's going to give me respect when no one else is. I've done enough. I'm like literally a Ruth on the worst threshing floor under heaven. I'm beautiful. I am still worth any man's while. I'm intelligent. I'm so many things. And on top of that, I'm super godly and I've stuck to God and I've got proof and evidence to that regard. And yet I'm disregarded. This nonsense is happening to godly women too much. And I believe that godly men are partially to blame for it because they're allowing themselves to be trained by the world on how to look for women. They are searching for wives the way that Jay-Z and Beyonce found each other. You're a billionaire, I'm a billionaire, or you're a millionaire, I'm a millionaire, so let's come together. That's not how the kingdom of heaven works, you guys. We should not be looking at things that way. Godly men should look for wives the way that Abraham looked for a wife for his son Isaac. Rebecca should be fetched from wherever she's at, and yeah, anyway, been waiting. I'm sad. I'm really broken, like all the time. Life is so hard. And I don't know when this is going to stop. I talk a lot. I've been at this for a minute, so let me just sign out, upload my content, share it, and hope that you've been reached. We need to snatch the world out from the flames, guys, and we can't do that while being worldly or shallow or having mindsets that are similar to theirs. We have a job to do, and it's so important. It's so big. We don't have time to be thinking like Insta models and YouTube stars. Like we don't. I mean, just look at the world. Just look at it. There's literally no time. Literally, like no time. Anyway, I hope you guys have been edified. I'm signing out in Christ's name. Cran K. Bye.